Hi, Santo.
I say hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Hello, hello. What's up, guys? Hi,
Hi.
Mark. I thought you were gonna be busy this week.
Yeah, I managed to get out of one thing.
I was worried because I didn't know who was gonna start the meeting.
Yeah, me too, because with Zoom, if you don't have somebody inside your organization, you cannot pass on the host. So that's one thing that is, I'm going to change. I'm not going to use Zoom for next time. I'm really going to use something else.
Well, I do have a Zoom account too, so we can create a link from my side too. I don't know if
Yeah,
make
if you
it
want to. If
I
you
mean
can,
it
if you manage
probably
to put me as an host, but I don't think it's possible across organization, and I cannot add you to my organization. So
yeah.
just
Okay. No, we don't really have an organization as far as I know on Zoom. It's just a bunch of accounts. So I'll figure that part out.
yeah, I can make you host if I want to now. Okay. Hi, Andreas. Lauren.
Hello.
We even have Dayan. Hey.
Hey, sorry, my camera is off.
Hey.
But I'm here, lurking.
Nice to see you around.
Nice to see you guys.
If other people don't know, it's the guy behind PyChilizer with Daria. That's
Yes.
one of the non-official extension. That's a very good one.
I had a great experience today in pyRevit. With Eric Ritz, we reprogrammed one of our favorite Go tools, and now everything is perfect. Now reality can attack, and we are ready. It's
Yeah, now
checking.
we want to digest Eric's toolbar and also the PyChilizer one.
Isn't it the best feeling when you make a tool and it works every time?
Yeah, there's a bunch of try and accept statements, but yeah, it's because some people don't model like they should. But
Making a tool that works every time, I think that's the best, the worst challenge that we get every day, basically, because you can do something and you will always find somebody to find the edge case and make it
there's
not.
also another workaround. You just erase the element. I know some companies who do. If it does not work, it gives you a warning, cannot join elements, will erase that one.
So shall we start?
That is Revit's solution for merge conflicts. There's a conflict. I'm just gonna delete both of them.
Mhm. I'm just gonna bring on the GitHub repo, if you mind,
Yeah.
just to talk about some of the few things that happened in the past weeks. The PR we created, I mean, Bizov created, which was one with all the tasks that were replied
Mhm.
to. I don't know if you got the chance to take a look at it.
Yeah, I was trying to build it last night, so we can talk about that a little because I want to get some more information to see what the state of it is. I'm not the part that I didn't really look at it earlier because I thought it's something that he's still working on.
I think it's
Um,
up to a point where it's almost okay. That's what I understood. And you need some feedback right now.
yeah. Okay, so can I share a screen for a bit? So I was looking at this last night and I kind of realized that I need to make some. So first of all, the pyRevit Labs library, this I was trying to build that and it wasn't building. And I sort of like made a few adjustments to this to basically make sure that it's building. Like fixing the framework paths, the build paths to be specific for the frameworks because we're building for .NET FX and .NET Core at the same time. Make sure the assembly files, the referenced packages actually carry into the build folder, so all those copy tasks would work. Some cleanups on some build configuration stuff like that. Putting a little more conditions on a few things. I'm gonna make this as an example. One of the things that we can do right now is that when we're moving to .NET Core, we don't really have to use the old package versions. Part of the problem with these is that they don't really have a .NET Core build. So you get all these like build warnings and all that kind of stuff, and it's not guaranteed to work. They were compiled against .NET Framework. So if they use any sort of framework API, it's gonna not work on .NET Core. So we can use the newer versions of those going forward, or stay on the latest or something like that. So putting a little bit of build conditions around these things. These are only like carried for the .NET Framework, stuff like that. So I got this, managed to get this to build, but so I got to go into the right code, build folder. So I'm going to get to a point that all the CLI tool, the pyRevit CLI tool.exe and its dependencies are in this folder because that's where they're going to be used from. .NET Core is going to be pyRevit itself .NET Core and pyRevit itself .NET FX. So they're going to a little bit of cleanup to make sure that works. And then we got a bunch of other things that I have to work on. Like I have to make sure that these are the stuff that I didn't see in the build. I don't know if they're ready or not. I haven't looked at them yet. But making sure that the engines are built, like this runtime is built and all the engines are built into it. The loaders are built. So these two. And then we do have some modules. I have to make sure that these are built into the build folder. And these are just the references. So I got to make sure that these three things are properly built. I don't know if this is something that he has set up and it's finished, but in my first try, I wasn't able to build this. So I'm assuming that the PR still needs work. Now, if you want, I can start committing and making some changes and all that kind of stuff, continue with it. I'm just not sure if anybody else is working on that pull request.
Nobody else so far.
Okay. Wait, so I can start working on this and get it to a point that it has the same sort of like DLLs as before and all that. Like for example, we had this thing in that we do have it in under div libs. I think this is where they went, like pyRevit toast. There are like some binaries that are not part of the build process. They were just committed to the repo before. When we remove the binaries from the repo, they had to be moved somewhere else. So I have to make sure, like for example, these two .exes are included still in the build folder for binary, so the installer can package them with pyRevit. They don't really have anything to do with the runtime; they're separate processes. But this is used to create stubs from .dll files for Python, and the toast is the one that pyRevit has a function to toast, and then it will show the thingy on Windows. So like things like this, just to make sure that it kind of goes to the same level that we had in .NET Framework before. So this is what I can work on today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow is the no Rhino day. So I'm gonna get this out of the way and sort of like put it in
I'm
a
sure you
place
have
that
some.
yeah, just a little that yeah, tiny bits, but not gonna spend too much. We're releasing 8.5 tomorrow, so I've done most of my work right now. So I have a little bit of time to work on these things. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm going to work on is this close this second item. And then which means that this third item will be also taken care of as part of that build. And then we can, once this is ready, we can all test the installers for .NET Core in 2025 and then start making things faster. Work on the performance.
It's not set up already for 2025, right?
No,
Because
no.
the way it's done, yeah. Because I tried to do it in the Revit preview on the hosted one on Frame, and I managed to almost get it done, there, but it needs compiling as well, right?
Yeah, so yeah, we have to basically I have to get it to a point that the develop branch is building installers so all of us can easily test. without having to pull the repo and build it and all that kind of stuff.
Makes
If that
sense.
makes sense. Stop sharing.
So that was one thing. Maybe on another topic, I think Andrea got this topic going on about telemetry,
Yes.
talking about changing stuff.
Yeah, we're just proposing to use something standard and battle tested, such as OpenTelemetry, which is a framework, set of SDK, and so on that you can use to send the telemetry data to servers such as Jaeger and Zipkin are the two most famous open source implementation. And this is just to free resources, not having to worry about a Go server that does the telemetry only for pyRevit and make it usable for everything else. Yeah. For instance, we did use Jaeger to monitor another of our service. So it would be wonderful if we can integrate also the pyRevit data in there without having to spawn another server. I don't really invest much time to see what has to be, what needs to be done to transition to OpenTelemetry. I just look at the source code yesterday, and I saw that there are like 3 modules that are they talk about telemetry that could be easily transformed and changed to OpenTelemetry 1 using their SDKs. There is already a Python and a .NET library that we can use to leverage it.
So a couple of questions. Are you okay if this change is in pyRevit 5 and after?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So that's good. And then the telemetry, the way it's set up is that there's a piece in pyRevit that runs on Revit that sends the telemetries out. And all it basically does is that it captures Revit's events, creates a JSON data structure out of them, and sends it to the server. And it uses, there's one function that says log the telemetry record, and it receives the record, which is the whatever that JSON data is, and it sends it to the server. So we can modify that to use the OpenTelemetry API, which should be fairly simple. The other side of it is the Go application that I have that's called pyRevit Telemetry or something like that. That's the receiver of this for your own private servers, which that I don't think that needs to get affected by this change at all. It's just in the pyRevit settings, we'll have an option that, use OpenTelemetry or something like that. And you put the URL or,
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
The other question that I have is that how does the authentication work with that? Does it need authentication? Is it open public?
I have to check because usually I use it between services that are in the same private network on the server. So I didn't think about it, but I will check it.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So we know if you can figure out if I have a checkbox in the settings that says use OpenTelemetry, what information is needed. I'm assuming a URL is needed, and it probably is something else in there. If you can figure that part out, that should be easy to implement.
Okay, perfect. And on this note, there is an open issue that was opened like 3 days ago that asks for the JSON data saving to file also the application telemetry. That I realized that the JSON file only saves the scripts telemetry and not the application telemetry. Is there a reason why, or is it just something that wasn't implemented?
That's a good
was on
question.
our side?
Definition provided. Current telemetry JSON file creates a new JSON file for each private session to avoid creating large files that within the session ID is added to. Yeah, this is I don't think I added this, to be honest with you, or
I
I
saw that
forgot how this is supposed to work.
the application telemetry misses the lines to save to the JSON file. I was wondering if it was performance reason or if it's just oversight.
No, I don't think so. It's the same function, the log script telemetry record, that if there's a URI, if there's a URL, sends it to the URL. But if it's a file path, it'll write it to the file path. We can take a look at these stuff and see why we can, if that's what you want. Is it do you actually use this feature to write the JSON file?
No, it was an issue that was opened 3 days ago. It's the first one. It's write application telemetry to JSON file. The issue is the number
It's the latest one.
2144.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, I don't know anything about telemetry in pyRevit because I didn't use it. But I saw this issue, and then I was wondering. Yeah, I looked through the code to see what's going on, and I saw that there are two classes: one for the script telemetry and one for the application telemetry. And the application telemetry misses the 3 lines that can write to the JSON file.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea. This was a long time ago. I have to look into see why did even we do this. It probably was, I probably used it for like debugging maybe, just to see before things go to the server.
I suppose that this request was maybe the only one that, yeah, I don't know if there's anybody else that needed this JSON file dumped instead of using the server, the telemetry server. But yeah, since it,
To me, it would make sense to use the JSON file depending on the setup, especially for remote work and all that, so that you don't have to worry about all the connection issues and the setup. So, but I've never used telemetry. I've just tried it, but I've never used it in real. I didn't see any use case for my own personal use.
Bin for everyone. He's using their own telemetry server. And they do have it public, it seems. It's MongoDB, Ustrut. Okay.
He's using a MongoDB, yeah.
Yeah, it's a .NET program, .NET server. Models, yeah, he has scripts and application events, it seems like. Yeah, so that's another option, I guess. It's good to know. Let me start this one. Okay. Andrea, do you know, are you familiar with the OpenTelemetry API?
I did use it for a project, and in Python, and yeah, it was almost as easy as adding 3 or 4 lines of code if you go to the auto instrumentation route. There are already instrumentations for libraries such as PyMongo, requests, and so on, FastAPI, and so on. So all the precious data that you need to record is already there. But it's also easy to add your own custom telemetry. It's like, well, I wrote a function like 10 lines of code to augment the data that I need for my requests. I needed to see all the parameters passed from, by some functions. So it was, yeah, easy. It's like.
Do you mind do you mind making it a GitHub issue with a snippet of the code?
Okay.
So when either of us get to it, know how to we don't have to look at the API and stuff like that. We'll just implement that in the log
Okay.
Thank you.
And Senzo, I think you also got another topic on in the pipeline about CPython that you were adding the new engine.
Yeah. Yes, I was trying yesterday to add the new version of PythonNet, the 3.03, and also the 3.12 Python. I got to a pretty good stage, but now I saw that the new version of PythonNet needs the path to the Python DLL in order to work to run the code. And yes, I sort of try to change the CPython engine, the module that is dynamically compiled on the start of pyRevit, and it compiles fine, but then it always tells me that it cannot find the DLL. So I was trying to do some debugging, but I don't know how to debug something compiled dynamically. So I was lost yesterday evening. But yeah, I suppose I am. I think I'm almost done. If I can share
I saw the message that that Jean-Marc, I just started today. Jean-Marc passed it on to me in the Slack channel that you asked about the debugging thing. What I generally do is that a lot of times I don't launch the application that I want to debug from scratch. Like I have Revit running and its pyRevit is loaded, and then I load up the pyRevit.runtime solution in Visual Studio so I can see the files like telemetry, all the other stuff that's inside of it. I can show you which one. And then I use the debugger connect. You connect to the
okay,
.NET
yeah,
application, and if
you
you put
told me,
breakpoints inside the code, because the debug symbol files include the source for the code and all that kind of stuff, it'll actually stop there.
but what about the runtime folder, the one inside the pyRevit lib?
So here's what at least this is what I haven't done it in a while, so I don't know if it's still working or not, but this is what I usually do. That we have this solution inside the dev directory that's called pyrevitlabs.pyrevit.runtime. Right?
Okay,
The solution
I
that's
missed
inside
that.
of
Okay.
Yeah, the solution that's inside of here will pull these now in the pyRevit 5, it's going to include all the C sharps. In 4, these C sharp files are in the .NET.runtime folder, right? But these
Yes.
CS
Okay.
projects will pull those files from .runtime folder so you can see them in projects like this over here. And then you can go here and say, hey, like CPython engine. And then
Okay. I always wondered what the solution did, but, but I didn't open it. So okay, now I understand. Yeah, this will make things much easier.
okay. Give that a try and see if it works. I hope it works. This was supposed to be working when I was using it. I hope it still works.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I did already attach the debugger to other processes, but I didn't see the solution inside the runtime, so I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, well, for pyRevit 5, the goal was to compile this as just a one single DLL, so we don't have to dynamically do things.
Yeah, another thing well, we are here. It's that since this the new behavior of the pyRevit, Python.NET library, it means that we don't need to compile it for each and every version of Python, so we can move the assembly to the other pyRevit Labs solutions. I suppose.
We
This
could, We could, yeah. I think, I don't know, like for long term, I think it's better to keep them separate because at some point, if you have two different versions and you want to have a different version of PythonNet in different directories for testing purposes, and just making sure that the old version is using the exact same library or something like that. Now, the bigger problem that I have with PythonNet is that this is the library that I've been working with for the past 40 or some years in Rhino to bring Python 3. And PythonNet itself has a lot of shortcomings. You can't subclass abstract classes. The method binder doesn't quite always work. So I wrote a complete new method binder for it, all that kind of stuff that are sitting inside a different repo that it's a clone of that for McNeil. So we could potentially use that one for pyRevit that has a lot of this stuff like figured out uh, uh, and solved. Like for example, if you want in the original Python net, if you want to add a delegate to it, like a method event handler or something like that, a lot of times it doesn't work. So like we have things like this figured out in our custom Python net, so we could use something like that too in the future. Just keep that in mind that there are clones of this project that have improved things. I have made a couple of PRs to them, but things haven't really been merged yet. So hopefully all of the changes that we have made will go into the Python net itself at some point this year.
All right, I keep it in mind. Yeah, I also took the liberty to change something in the how the things were going. Because yeah, you did some modification to the Python net, the previous version, to expose internal methods and classes. But I saw that in this new version, it's easy to use, just use the public methods. So I did change that, and so our version of the Python.net is much closer to the upstream one. So
Okay.
yeah, we can easily swap it. So.
Okay. So we do have a clone of that then, right? Like we do have a fork of that project?
Yes, I did submit a PR, but it's still in the web stage because I don't know if it works. It totally works now. So I did have to do some checks, and
Okay.
then I will toggle the draft status.
Yeah, I forgot that I cloned that. Oh, forked that project under pyRevit Labs in GitHub. Okay, great. Well, I can help you with that if you got it to a point that you're like, this is ready, you can't go further with this, just send it my way. And I have a lot of experience with that library. I can probably help.
Perfect, thank you.
And that would be pushed against the develop for, right?
Yeah.
No, I think
I
That's the
was working on the Devil 4, but it's like something like personal challenge because I don't like how it's now the T Python support it's going. So I would like to try to fix the 4 version before jumping on the .NET and .NET Core and stuff. But yeah, it's if you tell me that it's not worth it, I will change to
no. I don't think it's not a matter of worthing it or not. It's just, for our own sanity, I feel like every new thing that we want to put inside pyRevit is better to go in 5. But I get it. Like if you absolutely want it in 4, because it's gonna be a while until everybody transitions to 5. So we could even make it work for version 4. It has all the plumbing. We just have to basically just make sure that the Neo Python it is loading.
okay.
Okay. And then there's this standard that's for the visual effects software. That sort of like all the visual effects software have these standards that they kind of agree to. There's a Python version that's always suggested by that standard. And right now it's at 3.11 because 3.12 just came out basically, and they try to stay with one version behind and stuff like that. So I'll leave it up to you guys to choose like 3.11 or 3.12. I haven't looked at all the changes that's been made to 3.12, so I don't really know what's new. But one of these two should work.
I saw that they are already at the .2 fix release, so I thought, yeah, they already fixed something. Let's try it. But me personally, I'm still at 3.10 because of many projects that I started with it. So it doesn't matter for me. I simply thought, yeah, we start with the newest version possible, but I can change it.
I put that VFX platform thing in the chat. Let's see, Python, yeah, 3.11. It's suggested for calendar year 2024. Although we're on 3.9 in right now, so
Okay. So if we don't have anything more to say, maybe on the 3.12 thing,
Yes, we can go ahead.
I can maybe I have a question for you, Hassan. On the CLI, there was a mistake with the mismatch of the numbering of the lib2git C# DLL, and it was in the last release, actually. It has been fixed. So now it works when using the CLI. So that's one of the things that would make me ask maybe if we could make a new release so that we don't get any more issues about this topic specifically. Because we got like 2 or 3 so far since the latest release.
yeah. So yeah, I'd leave it up to you guys. Like you're all part of this big
That would
maintainer
be
group. Whenever
our
you
hotfix like
Yeah,
Autodesk.
yeah, that's totally fine. Anytime you feel like there's a place for like new version of pyRevit, go for it.
Because this thing to me can be mandatory and really annoying for people deploying for a firm in particular. So that makes it's annoying for a lot of people compared to single users that don't use the CLI basically.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
We do pretty nice release notes every time we release something. So if people look at it and like we don't really care for that, they don't really have to update.
There has been quite a few PR as well, so it would make sense. Okay, so I may try to do the first release. This will be my first release if I press the button, and I'll let you follow up on that. And one other thing that I noticed reading Mohammed that was commenting on the telemetry server, he tried it using MongoDB and said that it seems that there was a compatibility issue, and I think it is related also to one of the oldest pull requests that we have right now, the update MongoDB one. If you want, I can share it. This one. The username I have
Oh, I see. Okay.
was pushed by David. It's a small change. It's just a version number, and I think it's even old now. Maybe.
Yeah, just merge it. That's only affects the Go application. Merge it, it'll get built. We just have to make sure it gets built when you're releasing.
Yeah. That's one of the thing I wasn't so sure about because it implied some Go and I never touched it. So
Okay.
let's push it after a long time, a year.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to put it in develop -4, basically.
Yeah.
And then the only thing is that when you're releasing, you kind of have to make sure that it builds.
I've tried it before.
Yeah, you have to change.
Obviously. Okay. I'll look at it I'll look at it later. There's a few PR like that I didn't touch myself. The autosave, I think we can kind of put it aside because it's not like it's a nice feature, but it's not really necessary, I would say.
Autosave for Revit
Yeah.
files.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
Revit
kind
have
of
automatic autosave by itself? It's been a while since I worked with Revit.
to me it's kind of dangerous as well.
Mm.
Because you don't want necessarily to have an autosave in terms of having people to synchronize with Central whenever time passes, because sometimes you just want to mess around and you just don't want to leave the thing behind. So even though it's configurable, it's still kind of a big step. So, and nobody pitched in anyway, so that's why I left it like that.
The save stuff always like makes me cringe because these are areas that could potentially cause loss of work for
Yes.
people if like we save in the wrong time or have an exception during save and file something does happen becomes corrupt or whatever. Like I feel like it's better to share sample scripts with them and say, hey, you can use this if you want to, but no, that kind of stuff.
Or maybe that could be part of the dev extension to have that change inside of it, so that it's only people that knows a bit how to do things that can use it and implement it if they want to.
We can also use like I can we use forum for that kind of stuff. Like I make a post in the forum and say, hey, like there's a snippet, like there's an example of the code if you want to use it with some
Makes sense.
instructions, and we always refer to that forum post.
That's for the sake of everyone. I created a showcase category in the forum, so that whenever there's some code sharing implied, mostly for the sake of it, you can just add it to the category, and we can compile that afterwards if we want to. Yeah, maybe the autosave, I'll just close the thing and put the code and bring it to the forum. It would make sense. And it went kind of the same way with the synchronizing capability, like the new tool for synchronizing. It's good enough so that you can handle the synchronizing in a better way than just clicking 3 or 4 times in Revit. And you can assign a shortcut to it as well, so that makes sense. But at one point we talked about adding the autosave to it, but that's where I just stepped back a bit. Because like you said, just you can mess up so many things by doing autosaving.
If there was a very simple API in Revit, I would go for it. But then the saving and syncing is so complicated. Like I don't really want to touch this.
And the use cases as well. I mean, you can save local, you can save remote, you can save through a VPN, you can save so many ways that even finding the file path for the file itself is kind of tricky as well. Okay, I don't have any other topic on my side. I mean, you can talk, all other people.
So I guess I could I could clarify one thing between all of us just to make sure that I am clear on this. The only thing that we have that's a long-standing project is the pyRevit 5 and moving to .NET Core, right? So if I'm spending time working on that with you guys, there's nothing else outstanding that is waiting for me, right?
No, I don't think
Okay,
so.
okay, great. Just want to make sure that I'm not slowing you guys down on any of these
And
stuff.
if like the last thing that we did together is that I have also access to the YouTube channel. If we need to put whatever video onto the YouTube channel, and same goes for the Notion page. And if somebody wants to pitch in and write stuff, I mean, maybe we could open it up a bit more.
Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely. If any of these resources you want to open up, there's something else that you sent me that I feel like I haven't looked at. You asked me to update something somewhere.
I do send you a lot of things.
I know it's bad. So the good thing is it's getting better. Like this past week, I kind of realized, okay, the bugs are grouped. I can see the future. I can see the future with like a few bugs. So it's getting better. I can start spending more time on Revit stuff.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
one of the biggest things that I want to work on is to with the Rhino inside of Revit. Just I've been working on all of this because I wanted to have a better CPython experience inside of Revit. So I'm gonna be in there a little more very soon.
yeah
So,
the one outstanding question that I sent you was the Chocolate package install.
oh yeah. Okay.
That's one thing that I think we cannot do on our side.
Okay. Do we chocolate package
Unless we
gets
publish a new version, so it will manage by itself. The thing is that the current version is not working because it's pointing to a wrong URL of the MSI package. But if you do a new release, we don't have that problem anymore. We can get rid of the old Chocolati packages, the old version, and just start afresh for this version.
okay, which URL is pointing? Is the PowerShell script?
I don't remember. I did
Okay.
the PR, but
There's the
Okay,
number 2110 in the issues.
okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Describe the bug. Coco installs pyRevit gets a 404 error. Checking the chocolate source shows that the URL is different than the GitHub release URL. Oh, I see. Okay. I see. We have a bad URL in the package. Got it. Okay. This is a quick fix. I can take a look at this today. The okay, so Jean-Marc, I'll take a look at this today so we can merge this PR or fix this issue before you actually release.
Yeah, I won't release
And I
today.
can
I'll be willing to fix the Mongo thing first and to get all the outstanding and remaining stuff that are not work in progress.
okay. And I can share the access stuff for Chocolatey in case like you wanted to get in there and add or make
I
modifications.
think you would need to share it with Sanzo. I won't be the one to be able to. I'm not capable of doing that for now without messing things up.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'll take a look at this today.
well, I did already. I did the PR, and it was merged by Jean-Marc
Yeah, I merged the
2 weeks
PR.
ago. So the only thing that it needs to be done is to fix the current package on Chocolatey. So
Oh, I see.
yeah, I told Jean-Marc that it's something that can be done manually if you have the credentials for Chocolatey.
I see. So this ticket, this issue is to rip. Got it. Okay. Okay, let me note to self here. Replace current Cocoa package with one that has correct URL. Okay, I'll do that.
Perché capisci, se non ci fosse niente
I'll
lui
do
mi
that.
legge su tutto. Mi legge su tutto.
Yeah, if I can steal more of your time, I did do a long list of proposals in the Revit forum, by Revit forum, sorry. And the first one was asking to remove the old readthedocs site because it still pops up on the Google searches. And since we already have a new version, I think it's better if the readthedocs one goes away.
All right. Yeah, we can remove that. Read the docs. I think I have to do this on my Mac side because a lot of these passwords are saved on my Mac. Okay, so remove that. Okay, oh yeah. Okay. So do you want me to basically remove it? That should be an easy thing to do.
I suppose it's that's no more reason to stay there.
Okay. Well, okay. We have to make sure that we don't have any URL helps and stuff pointing to that repo.
Sure, you're right.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna make an issue for this in the pyRevit repo. Report. Look at that.
The
Remove.
same way we would need to fix the because right now it's pointing to ein.sh and then documentation. I don't know if you want to keep that under the pyRevit labs URL. That would make sense to me.
Yeah, I can just rewrite because that URL is a redirect, so I can modify that to point to the new location.
It would be good.
Okay, so feature request. Let's see. This is simpler. Remove. Read the docs. Read a conversation on the forum, and then reroute pyRevit labs URLs, and then make sure direct links in the repo is pointing.
I wouldn't change all the address in all the posts in the forum, but just on the quick start post draft and all the main pinned forum post maybe. And anyway, to change before changing the address, we will need to get the redirect done before.
Yeah. Okay. What else is on that proposal that you want to talk about?
I just realized that most of the things I can open some issues on the GitHub page and GitHub space. One of the things, well, we can talk about it later when we are done with the .5. Maybe I don't know. What the biggest thing was the proposal to use a single manifest file instead of leveraging directory structures to discover scripts and create the ribbon. I don't know if it's something that you're open to, or because this tends to some usability issues that I found, especially with discovering the scripts well, because of the if you want to add external packages, it's not like keep installing and then you already have side packages that can be discovered, and also the biggest thing now that I remember is the compatibility with the IDEs. The current structure doesn't go well with the Visual Studio Code on PyCharm because it doesn't find the packages. So I thought about using a single directory to put all the Pythons. Well, they can be in packages, sub-packages, but use only one folder of the extension for the Python, and then use a YAML file to describe everything from the extension, the tabs, panels, and so on. I did post an example, but I just copy-pasted what the bundles currently do and put it in a single YAML. I didn't thought it thoroughly, so it can be changed as we want. The only thing that will change is that for each and every button, there will be a new item that is the Python or the GS file that we need to launch with the button.
Okay, I would say let's let's move on with upgrading the 5 and then the other issues, because I feel like if I have too many of these issues spread out, it's just going to be too much work, and we're not going to get to it anyway. So I would say let's focus on 5. Get the 5 in a place that we can all test, that has an installer, and then we can have this conversation as part of the performance stuff. Because I
Okay.
do like the idea of having everything in one place, so I don't have to like we don't have to navigate very deep directories. But at the same time, it has to be a new thing, because like everybody's that's used to pyRevit want to have the old version, old system too. So we could introduce a modified way of like an option to organize your extensions like this if you want to. But I
One
feel
of the
like we
cool
can.
one of the cool thing with this idea is that you could I could see myself creating a web interface or whatever interface to deal with the UI as a whole thing. You have just one config file, so you could build a fake UI on the web and then create your toolbar from there. Because it's only one file, so it's easy to share as well, easy to edit,
I see.
patch. You could send it everywhere. So that's not as complicated as getting the whole browser experience. And I
So I
know
have
that
an idea. This is something that I've been working on for thinking of for a long time. I
we
don't know if
talked
I'm
about
just
it,
gonna
I
put it out
guess.
there to see if it's cool enough or not, right?
Yeah.
There is this. Okay, I want to share a screen. I just like it because it's very graphic and it's very cute. There is this game engine that's called Pico 8. It's a fantasy console. It's a console that never existed, but it's a program that you could basically run games on. And it does have this cute sort of like cart shape thing. So like, for example, I'm gonna look at let's go to the carts and just grab one of these carts. Doesn't matter which. Let's grab that, right? And I can where's the download button? Yeah, okay, so I can grab that. I can put it oh. Okay, and I can put it here, right? It's a PNG file. There's a cart like this that has the shape of a cart. But the beauty of this is that all the code's game is actually embedded in that PDF, in that PNG, which is great. Like you share carts like this, and they have all the information that you need. This is something I've been thinking about for a while, that we could do something like this for pyRevit, that you have like this really cute carts, and then each one of them has everything that you need inside of it. And then you just plug in these cards, and it's just a single file that you can share. And people can put like pictures on it, and it's very cute and nice, and I don't know, it's a little retro stuff. I don't know if you're up for it or not. What's the benefits of it is that every data that's needed is inside that. It kind of hides the code, so people can share it without like actually sharing .py files or something like that. It does have the extra stuff that you have to choose your script in pyRevit and publish it as a cart for everybody else to use. So it because one more step for the person who wants to share. The nice thing also about this is that we can very easily create a web page.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of work with all these like PNGs in it. It's just a static thing that people can commit stuff to, and it will show up. And it's a very simple structure. We can have it in the web page that shows the author and all that kind of stuff, or even like that on the cart.
That could be pretty cool also to be able to organize it visually to create your own full set of tools if you want to.
Yeah, there's this other similar project that does the same thing.
It
They
feels like
use
playing with getting Pikachu or
yeah, there's this like other one that does the kind of the same thing. It's a different file format, but they do have a PNG like cart style also, that they embed the metadata inside it, the source code inside it, all that. So I was thinking about this because I thought this means that we have a less complicated sharing mechanism for
Oh,
everybody that you
The
can just share.
advantage of the advantage of the first thing where you send it by PNG is quite interesting for chat programs or sending it by mail, because often your code gets blocked by any security mechanism. Within the PNG, you send an image and everything's inside. It's like a QR code. So,
Yeah.
and second, the idea about basically a sort of app store, like you're just suggesting, where you can just download the app or the image, but with a very low technology, is quite interesting, because
Yeah,
that would
that's what I
spread
was.
out really a good thing. And so basically, if you go further in this, you can create your own toolbar just by clicking, okay, I want to take this, and at your need, you can create even a toolbar for a project, because you need these tools inside. So I think that's quite an interesting idea.
Yeah, we could implement that with a zip archive or something like that too, that people can see what's inside of it. This is something also that Macs have been doing for a long time. They have these packages that is basically directory with like dot extension, dot package or dot whatever. So like for example, if you have an application like Revit, your project, it's actually a directory with a whole bunch of files in it, but the directory has the icon and it kind of it's treated like a file, like a package
Yeah.
file. So we could
Like
do
the
even something like that, but I
DMG
feel
on
like
Mac,
just the
yeah, like the
I was-
DMG file on Mac.
the
where
DMG file
you,
is a disk image. Yeah, it's a little
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you can't really open what's inside of it. It's a disk image that you have to mount and then you can see what's inside of it. But for example, the applications in Mac, every application that you see in the application folder is actually a folder. You can see, you can go inside it, all that kind of stuff. But Mac treats it like a bundle. Like exactly the way, imagine like pyRevit bundles, you could double click on it and instead of going inside it, you could run them. That kind of stuff. So that I love that bundle idea that packs a whole bunch of things in it. The nice thing about having the PNGs is that as an image is that we can in an hour we can make a website with all of this in it. Like this is something that I've been looking at as
And
part of this.
the extra thing behind that is you can get people to, I'm laughing, smiling saying that, but people to like whatever script is the best and classify a little bit the stuff.
I was
And
going to say the same thing, Jean-Marc. Like, you have a real forum with all these cards, and even I have this idea of like Game Boy styled pyRevit, where you have this button or something where you download it, even if Revit's open, pyRevit's open, and you just insert it right away, and you can run it like almost immediately and go ahead with it.
the thing that doesn't really work with that is the security issue. The IT security guys
Yeah.
is gonna cry if there's an open door like that.
Oh, screw IT.
I mean, they're running Python scripts. It at this point it really doesn't matter. They're running Python scripts on
I
their
know,
machine.
I know, but I still got the conversation with this IT guy last time, like you, and
Yeah, that's true.
they just want confirmation of confirmation.
When
This is
if
Yeah.
you're looking at the website, what's the idea still? Because I was wondering behind the Notion website, is it going to continue or is it something that's going to evaporate into the new API styled website with this idea as well? Is there an idea for a future in that?
not really. I can see we keep Notion around. Like Notion is gonna be our documentation and all that. It's nice that we can always be part of it and very simple share things and all that kind of stuff. The whole reason that I moved on to Notion is that I was using it as my note thing in the first place. And then I had to generate a lot of documentation for pyRevit. And I was like, I need something that's WYSIWYG so I can see and type and share it publicly easily and all that. If you guys have a better platform that you think it would be, I even looked at the Gitbook as a way of like producing documentation. But the nice thing about Notion is that somebody says, "Hey, this is misspelled." I'm like, "Did it done?"
You type it and it's done.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's
I like the Notion website. I was just wondering whether there is another future in there. I don't know.
And to put everything under one hat, you mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. If you're talking about future expansions with this kind of app store, and then there is a Notion, and there is an API website, and there is another thing, and another thing, and another thing, so to speak.
Yeah, you will need a central place to do.
Yeah, then there needs to be like one hub at least. That's like the main thing to go to from where you expand to other places, so to speak.
So the intention was the Notion to pyrevitlabs.io, this to be the main hub.
Yeah, yeah. That's that,
So
but
we-
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Oh, so like wiki in here. Damn it, I can't type today. So this would be the main thing that it has homepage and you get like a couple of links and all that kind of stuff to different places.
And this
Yeah.
is kind of repetitive from what we have on the GitHub repo a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
First
And I
use.
separated this into these two parts that I'm like, hey, they're kind of two different customers or clients, basically. They're the ones that just want to use pyRevit and they're ones that develop for it. And develop for it, the developer docs will be their home.
Mhm.
It has the videos and all the links and documentation and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So this is what I was thinking about the cart idea. Like this website, macOS Icons has a Git repo in the back, and people just commit these icons to the repo, and it just shows up here, and there's like categorized and all that kind of stuff. It'd be kind of cool to have a system like this for pyRevit too, and you can say, hey, I want that tool. Oh, that's cool, that kind of stuff.
So
Maybe
one,
we could start with just a directory of extension first. And then once we are ready to step up to a card system like PNG or whatever, that could be done like that. Because right now there's no like front store or front store for all the extensions that are in the wild. So there's a few that are listed as part of pyRevit, okay, but there's like hundreds of them outside of it, and that can be interesting. The one from Bizu, the other one from I forgot who's doing this, but 123 web BIM forms or whatever. There's a few that are pretty interesting with not that many tools that are interesting, but still interesting to look at. And to have a place
Yeah.
to look at it would be to centralize it would be nice.
Over time, over the past years of like running all of this and running scripts and all that kind of stuff, I started with this idea that I'm like, oh my God, we create this extension, these curated collection of tools and all that kind of stuff. But then it works for a lot of people. A lot of other people want to be able to pick and choose from this.
Yeah.
So I feel like for pyRevit 5, if you're brainstorming, I feel like we kind of have to give both of these ideas equal weight. That a cart that has 10 games in it, it's great, but also those individual games should live as independent carts. So people can plug and play and combine in their own collections and however they want to. I'm using carts as a loose term for each one of those bundles, right?
Yeah, but I like the idea of cards also in terms of UI and UX. Like you build it on the web, you can mix and match the way you want. You have a preview of what it will look like in Revit, and then you can just download the whole thing, install it, and you're done.
Yeah.
And it will also take all the lips and everything that it needs to work with it.
You mean
Yeah, so yeah, probably I was thinking about that. Like we commit to a core API for pyRevit that everybody can use, but also they probably want to have their own stuff.
Yeah.
So there should be a mechanism inside the bundle that says, hey, like this is shared library, put it in this other
Yep.
place or something like that.
Yeah, because I find it really interesting because I could take a few scripts already that I have in my head and I like pull them loose from the rest of the code that I have. But then I would also need to pull like all the lips from together that's needed to run that one script, so to speak, apart from the rest.
There are two ways to manage this. Like I'm more the sharing of the libraries between multiple tools. It's nice because you have you're saving on storage, basically. But realistically, for like software deployment, it's better to bundle that library with that cart. So that cart is self whatever by itself. and it works. And that's version 1. And you can have a version 2 of that cart in the same environment if you want to, without making changes to the libraries and all that kind of stuff. So if you have 2 scripts that used to share the same library, you publish this one as version 1 with that library in bundle, and it goes like that. And then you make some changes to the library and publish this script, the other one, as version 1. These two are 2 different tools, version 1, but they have slight different versions of the library inside of them. They don't technically share that library. They're generated from the same source on your computer when you published it. But it makes it easier for deployment because everything that it needs is with it, and there's no conflict with anything else.
The other approach could be like the Dynamo approach, where your libs are like packages that you need to run certain cards, but then stuff gets more and more like dependent on extra stuff being loaded, which makes it more general, but on the other hand makes it less user friendly as well, I think, or more prone to mistakes.
Yeah, this is something that we have to think about for Python, for Rhino. What the solution that we came up with is that we inline the packages that we need inside the script. So like inside the script, in Python script says pounds requirements, and it says numpy in the script. Every time you hit play, whatever the machine is, it'll pull the numpy and install it for you. So we could even like think about solutions like that the package has a requirements file that says I need these.
Which is also available then on the App Store, so to speak, like the package section. Yeah.
But what if you have custom libraries that you ship just for your package then?
Would be treated the same.
Do you want to publish them separately?
Well, you could have the choice, maybe. Like you could have, on the one hand, libraries or extra code that's next to, like we do right now with, I don't know, tooltips or icons or stuff that's like in the same folder as the tool itself. Or you're really talking about a secondary package that's needed, and then you're talking about all the libs that are like located on another level.
Well, more like NumPy libraries, which obviously pyRevit cannot enumerate all possible packages out there, right? And provide from the get-go. So you sometimes end up getting your own dependencies.
Yeah, this is something that we have to think about. I do, like, just brainstorm over it and see which part of it you like, which one. Obviously, the dependency resolution is something that every package deployment system has to deal with. So you have to kind of figure out a decent way to approach that.
Well, one thing about the card stuff that would make sense as well is to be able to package the cards and deploy it as a package itself, like pretty much like you did with the clones versions that are available, the basic one, the public one, the core one. It would make sense to get the set of tools like the extension itself as an extension that you can package on the website and then deploy it at will. And maybe having some sort of high level management where whenever you're inside an organization, you allow for this specific set to be imported from the website, because that will probably pop out as an issue.
But also to prevent doubles as well, Jean-Marc. I think if you do it like that, you would also need to be able to check the system if a package is already installed. Like you could have 2 cards with like same dependencies in the background. And you don't have like doubles or triples of that happening as well, I think.
In Rhino, I just use pip. So pip handles the resolution. When you say like numpy, if it's already there, it doesn't install it. Or you can figure out which.
Yeah.
There's two thoughts on that. On one, what you said before about the closed package idea of Macintosh is that basically every application runs it in its own container. So if it drops down, it will not drown the others, which is quite interesting from a point of view for the user, because he cannot destroy anything, or the container destroys itself. And second is the question of dependencies and their updates is quite crucial because one of the reasons we switched away from Dynamo first time was that there's this package problem. So basically you want to run a tool, or let's say 2 months after the creation. On one machine, you don't have the package. On second machine, you don't have this right version of the package, or there's a conflict because the new package does not have the function or the method, blah, 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 everything. So keeping this in mind is quite crucial because this can create problems. So one has to be carefully thinking it through how it works. In the case where you have one application using, let's say, a specific version of a package, and the second one will use the same package, but it needs, well, the version 2 months afterwards, and so on and so on.
Yeah, let's keep that in mind, discuss it. We'll move on with the pyRevit 5 implementation, updating to .NET Core, which is like the critical thing. And then once we have that installer, we can start talking about like new ideas for deployment, with the focus on making it easy for everybody to get the tools in a customized way, so they can build their own toolbars if they want to, and get to pick and choose and, whatever the tools they need, all that kind of stuff. I have to go to another meeting. You have a testing meeting that I have to go to.
Yeah, I think we got quite fine brainstorming today as well.
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Of
thank you
course,
very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks,
Exciting.
all of
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
See you in the
See you guys
next
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thanks for coming.